Well, I'd like to return to where we ended last night, briefly, with this quite remarkable early poem of Rilke's. When he wrote these poems, he was 23 years old. It's astonishing for me to imagine that outpouring of early genius. He'd gone to Russia, as I mentioned, with his beloved Lou, and wrote these poems as a gift to her. He inscribed them in a black book, the prayers for Lou. And only a year later did he realize that he wanted to extend them and write an entire book of prayers, which became the Book of Hours. But in this opening section, they're all written as if by an old monk. And that first part is called the Book of Monastic Life. That was the title Rilke eventually gave it. And this monk was an icon painter or writer, as the Orthodox would say, who was in a community, a small community, and was dealing with all of the anxieties of age, of faith and doubt, of a struggle to find a way to speak, address God. And so all the poems are written to you, and in the first version, Rilke capitalized the you to signify the divine. So this first prayer that we have comes from this time. My life is not this steep hour in which you see me hurrying, so you, Lord. I am a tree standing before what I once was. I am only one of my many mouths, and at that the first to close. I am the stillness between two notes that don't easily harmonize because the note death wants to lift itself up. But in the dark interval both come trembling to join as one, and the song remains beautiful. I loved this poem when I first read it. Yes?
In German, is that a rhyme scheme?
It is a rhyme scheme, yeah. And I chose not to rhyme these poems because it complicates the diction, conveying what Rilke was really trying to express through images and through the music of the words themselves. But thank you. Almost all of his poems were heavily rhymed until the very end of his life, when he wrote the great elegies. We'll get to those perhaps tomorrow or later in the week. And that was a big exception. Otherwise, he was a rhyming poet. But the rhymes weren't the sing-song rhymes of nursery rhymes. The rhymes are woven into the flow of words. And so often, you don't even hear them, really. What you hear is the music of the language, not the end rhymes. Because he doesn't write the poems, ba-bum, 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 the iambic pentameter, that familiar cadence of English poetry. And so often the enjambment, the lines move across. The flow of the words moves across. It's the music that you hear most of all, not the rhyming.